What's up, sports world? What's good, everybody? This is the Everything Buffalo Show. Brought to you by Solo Eats. All right, we got a lot to talk about on the Everything Buffalo Show. The intimate, atmosphere of which. Got to shout out my brother Job for the music playing right now. Theme music, melancholy music for. We got a lot to talk about. We'll talk about the Bills versus the Vikings coming up. We will talk about Jack Eichel and those Vegas Golden Knights against the Buffalo Sabres last night. We'll talk about UB football as well and a whole lot more. Make sure you like and share. We on Twitch, YouTube. We are also on Twitter and Facebook. And, of course, shout out to the Apollo Media Center because that's where we at in the heart of the city right here. All right. Great show coming up for you guys. So stay tuned. Get ready. All right. Couple advertisements before we kick off the show. Obviously, we got a charity Christmas pajama party coming up, hosted by Chairs Barbershop. Eat, dance, and be merry. It is Sunday, December 18th from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., 2527 Delaware Avenue, Buffalo, New York. Donations of toys and cash. Obviously, you can go to their Twitter at the $ TUT Life Events. All right. So support. Don't be a hater. All right. And in which I got two of my bros here. First and foremost, I'm going to shout out the guy from Vegas. We talked last night on the Rise Up Unlimited radio show. Vegas Sports Hub, my guy, who predicted that those Vegas Golden Knights would win. Brother from another mother, Rocco Raquelli is in the building. What's good, Rock?
Just the Vegas Golden Knights doing what I told you was going to do. They were going to go down there. They were going to beat Buffalo at KeyBank Arena. And Jack Eichel, by the way, 19 points in 15 games. He's being the superstar he was advertised to be. Right.
Speaking of superstars, I got to talk about another superstar before we get into the sports talk, because this is the Everything Buffalo show. And straight from the 716, my brother, I've got to watch this phenomenal young man just grow up from Monsters Inc. Versus with the Monsters Inc. and everything in it to what he's doing now, being the go-to music out here. My guy, Joff. What's good, Joff, man? What's good, bro?
Peace to the gods of the earth. You know the vibes.
Yes, sir.
The Big Seven, Mr. Anti-Photogenic. I don't do this for the cameras. We do it for the impact.
Absolutely.
Life is beautiful. Everything is great. Everything's gorgeous.
Man, everything is gorgeous. And that's why y'all watching the Everything Buffalo show. Theme music, man. Theme music by the GOAT. Job music. Go check out that on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. Of course, he's got phenomenal hits on there. And he continues to make impact and keep making these hit shows, doing these hit events, doing these hit music videos, doing these hit songs. Man, check him out, man. It's phenomenal. I'm just happy to be involved and around for, greatness. All right. Speaking of greatness, we will talk about the Sabres first. You know what, Rocco? I see how you played that. You played that real smooth. So we had to talk about the Buffalo Sabres first. Last night, for those who was around, for the get down, the the Vegas Golden Knights came to Buffalo and kicked the Buffalo Sabres behind 7-4. There was a lot of chance. Rocco was with me because we was live from Key Bank on a Rise Up Unlimited radio show. Shout it out, WDAP Radio and WDAP TV. Shout out to them for the platform. But we was live at Key Bank, and Rocco got to hear some of the chants. Jack, you suck. Jack, you suck. I mean, they was going crazy last night. When Jack Eichel comes, it's an affair, man. It's a Buffalo affair. Last time he came, the Sabres won, but this time Jack Eichel was ready. He was stoned twice on two breakaways at first, and everybody was like, "Oh man, here we go again, something to be excited about." Until it wasn't nothing to be excited about no more. Jack Eichel just put up a hat trick. Some hats was thrown on the ice, and 4 points as the Vegas Golden Knights, 7-4. Your thoughts on that? We also got Jack Eichel and what he had to say too. We got premier interviews with Jack Eichel from last night too to play. But Rocco, I want to ask you first. Your thoughts on your Vegas Golden Knights?
Well, I mean, I could just say that your goaltender needs some work. I mean, letting up 7 goals.
That's an understatement.
Eric Comrie should really not be your starting goaltender at this point. But let's go to Vegas. Let's talk about Vegas real quick. Chandler Stevenson averaging a point per game, being really a top 6 forward who he needed to be when he came to Las Vegas. Mark Stone, he had 2 unfortunate penalties, but he makes it up with his defensive performance. Brady McNabb, former Buffalo Sabre, doing what he does best on the defense, and that's making sure the puck stays out of the net. You also had the bottom line with William Carrier, Keegan Cole-Lazar. Those guys did pretty well. Paul Cotter, the rookie, scoring a goal. So Vegas has done very well at using every player on their roster effectively. And yeah, you could talk about Jack Eichel. He had a 4-point game, 19 points in the first 15 games. But what you're also seeing from Jack Eichel, he has a plus 10 right now. I mean, he used to be negative 21 when he was in Buffalo. Now he's plus 10 in Vegas. So his defensive presence, the way he's able to move the puck around, the way he does puck possession, Jack Eichel has done pretty good since coming over to Vegas, having 48 points in almost 44 games since coming to the Vegas Golden Knights. So Jack Eichel has been incredible, but let's not forget about the rest of the team now. They're doing pretty good as well.
Yeah, you talked about Stevenson. Stevenson definitely got the party started for Vegas. We know we talked somewhat through the first period of the game too. Man, by the way, I'd be amiss right now to not shout out some greats. Shout out to Marty Baron and shout out to Brian Duff. 2 phenomenal guys that I got to sit next to during this game. We showed the picture, me, Rocco, Kelly, and these 2 phenomenal legends that was in the box with us, just talking hockey, man. And they were down to earth and cool. They wasn't like, oh, we don't want to talk to you. We weren't not too big headed. Love it, man. I love that about sports talk. So shout out to those guys. I got to definitely give them their props and their credit for what they do in the media world. Now that was probably the best part about waking up for that game yesterday. Speak about the goaltending. Speak about Eric Comrie. Talk more about him as we talk about, Buffalo, everything Buffalo, because I particularly do not like Eric Comrie that much. And I kind of had a conversation with Marty Baron in which I asked him a question. I said, Marty, the ice is open for you. Anytime you're ready to go back, you can go, you can go back. We'll open you with open arms here. And he was like, I'm good up here. He said, I'm good up here. I'm phenomenal up here. So he ain't want no smoke. But talk about the goaltender.
I mean, the thing is, Craig Anderson, he has been in the NHL for a long time. And he was with the Chicago Blackhawks in the mid-2000s. When I was watching Blackhawks games, he was just getting started in the league. So Craig Anderson's a longtime veteran, but because he's been around for over 20 years, his body, he can't play every single game. So you have to have somebody in net that can come in every once in a while and play in Buffalo. But the thing is, Eric Comrie is not the guy. That game against Vegas showed me is that there's a lot of times where he's in the wrong position, where he is not positioning himself and not adjusting his body the right way to get set up to stop some breakaways, some slap shots, some fadeaways, toe drags. He's not really in the right spot in order to really stop those shots from being put in the back of the net. So if Eric Comrie could work on that and could change that, then I would say Buffalo has a good shot. But the thing is, he's been around the NHL for a couple of years. He's not a young goalie in hockey. Now, Eric Comrie's been around for a while. So because of that, what I would recommend to everyone watching around the world, and Andre as well, is if you are the Buffalo Sabres, you need to call up a 23-year-old named Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and you got to have him be in the net for Buffalo. Not only because he has one of the best names in all hockey, but also he's done pretty well in Rochester this year. Now, I know you know about the Rochester Americans, but he's been in 9 games for them, and I think that if you give him a shot, have him play in Buffalo, have a few games, see what he can do.
I mean, we've already got to see what UPL can do. UPL is pretty good. I mean, he was only giving up like 2 goals each time he stepped on the ice for the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, I think he's a phenomenal goaltender. I was kind of amiss when they didn't go with the 3 goaltender rotation in UPL. Anderson, who's undefeated right now at 41, being the oldest player in hockey right now, and the oldest goaltender right now. And then they went with Eric Comrie, and I guess they committed to Eric Comrie being the starter, but they gotta, at some point, they gotta give it a break, give it a rest, man, because it's not working. I mean, he is stiff as cardboard. And I get it, some of those goals are defensive, but he gave away 2 weak goals last night. 2 weak. And shout out to Giuseppe Ciucciarelli. Welcome to the 5-hole. I mean, welcome to the 5-hole is what Eric Comrie gave invitation to the Golden Knights twice yesterday. And I'm just like, come on, man. You got to do better than this, man. His record, I think, is now 4-7. It's like 4-7, this guy. Yes, he is 4-7. It's ridiculous. I'm like, come on, you got to do something. You got to do something better than that. Speaking of which, talk more about your goaltender and Jack Eichel a little bit more. As what do you plan on seeing those guys do for the rest of the season as far as your Golden Knights is concerned?
Well, when it comes to the Golden Knights, what they're really going to be focusing on is, Logan Thompson. He's a rookie goaltender out there in Vegas. And he is someone who was with the Washington Capitals, New Jersey Devils, before finally getting his shot here in Vegas. So we're really going to be focusing on getting him a lot of reps, getting him plenty of starts, making sure that he can be a good goalie moving forward. Adin Hill has been a constant veteran in the NHL. He's been with San Jose, been with Arizona, now he's here in Vegas. So what Vegas really is trying to do, Adin Hill's 5-0, Logan Thompson 7-2. So what you're really seeing from the Vegas Golden Knights, and really comes to their goaltending, is that they're going to rely on them to make those big saves, to stop those big shots, make critical saves. That's what Vegas is going to do. And then defensively, they have 8 defensemen that they use throughout the year, and they're going to pretty much swapping those guys out, making sure they have new legs and have new skates throughout the whole entire year. And when it comes to forwards for Vegas, you're really going to rely on Jack Eichel being the sniper that he is, being one of the best snipers in hockey, and putting goals in the back of the net. And then you have the defensive forward and Mark Stone, one of the best defensive forwards in hockey, and he's going to do what he does best, and that is stopping opportunities and bringing it back to the offense.
All right, interesting enough. You know what? I think it's about that time. I mean, I got this straight from the horse's mouth. Let's go to Jack Eichel. This is what Jack Eichel had to say about yesterday.
And you're on here too, so we had plenty of support, and I have my girlfriend and her whole family here, and a lot of people from Buffalo that I've made relationships with over the year that were here supporting me. So I appreciate all that, and like we talked about this morning, I think I knew what to expect coming into the game. So
you said you were human being. You're also somebody throwing out your first ball. You raised your hand. You crowd felt it. How good is that?
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, had a couple breakaways and you guys were here. They were obviously on me all night, and yeah, it felt good to get one. It was a big point in the game for our group. And, it never felt like we were fully in control. Getting a lot of players. They're a really good team over there. And they make a lot of plays and put a lot of pressure on you defensively, and they got some really good players. So, to give Tomer credit, give our D credit, we stepped up in big moments in the game, and we found a way to cap off the right way.
It's obviously a team. Was it relief? Was it relief given what you went through last time in this? It looked like you looked happy.
I just tried to enjoy it, the whole experience. I mean, I just feel very privileged to be able to play this game, and it was just a great, it was a great team win for us, and we had a good road trip. So I just enjoyed playing hockey this year and trying to make the most of it.
I was just gonna.
You don't want to look too far ahead. Listen, this is a long season. And, there's a lot of ebbs and flows to it. So, you just try and build on momentum as much as possible, and back up the wins.
Jack, what's your favorite part about coming to Buffalo despite the pressure? Come here.
Well, I do really have a lot of relationships here still with people. So, my girlfriend's from here, and I have a lot of what I would call family here. So, getting to come back here is always nice. I get to see them, and there's a lot of people over there, that are part of the organization that I spent a lot of time with and that I'm still very close with. So getting to see them and just some of the relationships I've made here, I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Jack.
All right. So Jack talked about the experience here in Buffalo. I'm sure you got to hear some of that. He was very cool about that situation. Talking about, the pressures of coming to Buffalo, favorite things to do. And I got to ask Jack off the record too afterwards. I shook his hand. Got to ask him off the record, like, what was your favorite food? What's your favorite food when you come here? He told me Gabriel's Gate. So shout out to Gabriel's Gate. He liked to eat. He was going to do something else, but they had pizza and all types of stuff waiting on them, ready for them after that game, especially when you put a 7-4 beat down on the Buffalo Sabres, you get treated with some things. So Jack was cool about that. He didn't give me the answer like last year, the answer that y'all got last year from Jack. That was crazy. I mean, Rocco, you remember it. What did he say exactly again? He said, I never heard.
It was
I never heard
loudest he ever heard Key Bank since he was there.
Yeah, man. Like, you don't want those issues. You don't want that. But speaking on the other side, I mean, we talked to Don too. Don Granato has some things to say. Let's play it real quick. Let's see what Don had to say about last night. Stop it right there. He said, I thought Eric Comrie was great. Man, where was he great? Where?
He was great with the other team score. That's what it was. As a Vegas fan, he was great for us. We got 7 goals off him.
Great. Okay, great. So I asked Don some questions. You about to hear. Here's some of my questions. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Eric Comrie being great. I had to skip some of this because I'm just like, no. You got to wake up and handle taking a 7-4 loss.
Coach, to talk about the other Jack Quinn, healthy scratch tonight, even though he's top 3 in 5 statistical categories on your team.
I don't know how long we've been around, but what we've been talking about through the years, Vinny Hinostro's been sitting out. He's a pretty good hockey player. So very, very uncommon to have no injuries up front. You can look at what we've had on the back end. Lots of games, 82 games. Watch players develop, and I think it's an advantage to be able to step out at the age Jack is and step back in. And you're in the fire, you're in the heat, so it is, I think, positive to his development to be able to do that. And if we're healthy, we can do that. So I think it's a good thing.
All right. So I asked about the other Jack because I didn't want to be a Jack on the, I didn't want to be a Jack on the presser. But I asked about the other Jack Quinn because, the other Jack Quinn is top 3 in 5 statistical categories for your team, but he ain't playing. What's going on, Coach? Why is he healthy scratch? He told me about Vinny. And we know Vinny played for the Blackhawks back then and was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I met him at the Blackhawks convention back in 2016.
Don't make me laugh, Rocco.
And back in 2016, Blackhawks convention, he was a rookie back then. Yeah.
Right. So he was decent, but come on, man. Okay. So I also asked Don about some of the things he needed to do so that, he could turn the ship around. This is the 4th loss in a row for the Buffalo Sabres after going 7-3. We talked about this. We've seen the Buffalo Sabres do this before. It's kind of a pattern. Buffalo Sabres come out hot. I guess most teams don't have their wind up under them, they skates up under them yet because it's the beginning of the season. And then when teams get their skates and get their win, then you see this, which is 4 games in a row now. The Buffalo Sabres have lost. They have not won a game since. Put it in the comment section if you know when the last time the Buffalo Sabres won a hockey game. Put it in the comment section. All right. Now, speaking of which, we've been talking about the Sabres for a while, but they do play the Boston Bruins coming up Saturday night at KeyBank Center. I will probably not be there for that one because I will be somewhere else because this is the Everything Buffalo show, right? So I might as well, put it out there that NCW Wrestling will be having an event in which Jaw U Club will be in the building. And I mean, they will be in numbers. Hint, hint. Coming up this Saturday, Eastern Hills Mall. It's going down. The Veterans event. NCW putting it down. Shout out to Sam Slade. Shout out to Shadow Cat. And those guys, I'll be there. I won't be there to watch the Bruins. I don't even know if the Bruins will beat the brakes off of the Sabres, but I'm hoping they don't. I hope the Sabres actually win. It'd be nice to see them win a game. But go ahead, Rocco, because you got something on your mind. Your mind is.
I got 2 things on my mind. First off, the Bruins are 12-2. I mean, they have the second best record in all of hockey. Vegas is first, by the way. Vegas is first. But Boston is second. Man, you had to go up against the 2 best teams back to back. Ugh. Hope you don't have Eric Comrie in net for that game. Now, the second thing I have is, what are your Buffalo Sabres? Man, what's your Buffalo Sabres going to be doing moving forward? Because they have $22 million in cap space, and I know the offseason is a few months away, but $22 million, that's a lot of cap space.
Absolutely. We've talked about the Sabres making some moves in past. I've talked to Coach Don and asked him about what Kevin Adams and the organization is thinking about doing as far as making this Buffalo Sabres team even better. I get it. They have Tage Thompson. I get it. They have Jeff Skinner. I get it. They have Victor Olofsson. They have Tucky. They have Alex Tuck. They have young guys, Peyton Cribb. They have Rasmus Dahlin. They have Casey Middlestat, who scored last night. We talked about that earlier about Casey being bottom 4 in some statistical categories, but scoring. but he scored. I did talk to Brian Huff and them about Brian Duff and Marty Baran about, Casey Middlestat. I talked about it, and they gave me some good, interesting answers, by the way. So, do they make a move? What do they need? Do they need goaltending? Should they go get another goaltender? No, I think they should just put, like Rocco said earlier, bring up UPL, right? Bring him up, let him get some more starts, sit Eric Comrie down so he can calm his nerves and get some wins. Bring Craig Anderson in there because he wants to play hockey. Obviously, he's still around, so let him play some hockey. Get some wins. I think a couple of these
18-year-old too, which I think is pretty impressive. You have this 18-year-old goaltender you drafted in the draft. He was from Finland. Topias Leninen. So
yes, Leninen. You can get him some starts. You know what I mean? Get him some starts. Let's start grooming some of these young guys and go get another score. They have to go get another score, by the way. That's what I think. And that's just me being honest. They need another score. They need a defensive score. Because that's what they lack. And Rasmus Dahlin cannot do it all by himself all season long.
But Owen Power is supposed to be good at that.
Owen Power is supposed to be good at that, but you got to go get it. You got to go get something else. He's on the fourth line. Owen Power is.
Look, Owen Power is pretty good. Rasmus Dahlin, pretty good.
Yeah, but he's only got the power when he's actually in the game. So, you got to do what you got to do. All right? Make the moves. By the way, you are watching the Everything Buffalo Show. I am Andre the Torch Robinson, the fire starter. If I did not tell you that earlier, I probably already know that. No introduction needed for this guy as well. My guy, Rocco Raquelli, Ian Raquelli, is in the building from Vegas Hockey Hub. Oh, also PR Connections. My guy, Sports Angles, is phenomenal. All right, he giving y'all the Olympic Slam. That's a fact. Giving y'all the Olympic Slam on Sports Talk. My guy, Rocco Raquelli, in the building. I appreciate my brother from another mother. Now, with that being said, Rocco, we got to move from hockey and talk about these Buffalo Bills coming up. Got some Bills talk about Josh Allen. Let's first and foremost talk about Josh Allen's injury. I guess Josh isn't feeling a little oozy. I'm sorry, that's not funny. But it is a UCL injury, so he ain't feeling a little oozy.
So he's not joshing around?
He ain't joshing around. I don't think he's joshing at this point. So the Buffalo Bills have not put him on any list as far as being out this week. Just stop asking. I know a lot of folks are like, oh, is he playing this week? Is he playing? And they're not going to make that decision until tomorrow. You guys will tomorrow, and they might even make you wait till game time decision. You might have to wait.
You got to wait an hour before.
Yeah, you might have to wait for this one. Did he practice? No, he hasn't practiced at all. Case Keenum's been taking some of the snaps. What happens if Case Keenum is the quarterback, right? A lot of people want to know. I've been reading some places where nobody believes in Case Keenum. They don't think the Bills have a chance to win games with Case Keenum. I do not agree with that, but at the same token, I understand why people are kind of having this feeling in their gut, as I'm going to call it, about, Josh may be out and not being able to win games. But I also have to say with that I don't want the Bills Mafia to start taking the victim role. Don't play the victim role now. Oh, Josh Allen's hurt, so our team isn't that good anymore. Like, no, you have a great defense. Your defense is number one. You have a pretty good team. Your depth is pretty, you know what I mean? But, Rocco, what's your thoughts on this?
I don't know how you're going to play victim when you win the Super Bowl in February. Hey, look, a quarterback going to get injured. Patrick Mahomes got injured. They went on to win the entire thing. Tom Brady had some injuries. They went on and won the whole thing. Hey, it happens. All that matters is when you're in the Super Bowl in February. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Okay, so Rocco, let me ask this question. So let's talk. Josh. What happens if Josh doesn't play the next couple weeks? What happens then?
You have one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Case Keenum has been in the NFL for an entire decade. Doesn't matter if he was with the Houston Texans, LA Rams, Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, Denver Broncos. It doesn't matter what team he's been on. He has been one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. He's been doing it time and time again. The Buffalo Bills made a very smart move by signing Case Keenum because similar to Teddy Bridgewater out in Miami, there is pretty much no quarterback that you could get that would be better than what Case Keenum could be as a backup quarterback. And I know there's going to be some people who are going to say, what about Mitchell Trubisky? Why didn't we bring back Trubisky? Because Case Keenum is a better game manager. Case Keenum knows how to manage the game. He knows to check down the reads. He knows options. Case Keenum knows Minnesota, by the way. He led them to the NFC Championship game, not even a couple years ago. So Case Keenum would be a perfect backup quarterback. And let's say worst case scenario, Josh Allen's out for 3 to 4 weeks. I could see Case Keenum going 3-1. I could very well see it.
So
Because
yeah, I
Case
think
Keenum
Rocco was alluding to the fact that Case Keenum would be a really good backup quarterback, which I agree 110%.
He's one of the best.
Yeah, I think Case Keenum would be a really, really good, backup quarterback. Obviously, some people don't think that. They're like, oh, have you seen his play lately? And I'm like, what play lately? How much of Case Keenum have you seen this season? Anybody can tell me? Yeah. Y'all seen a lot of Case Keenum this season? Have you? Oh, okay. I definitely, I haven't.
Yeah,
I haven't.
I mean, we really haven't seen much of him. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Right. So I'm not understanding why people don't think. I mean, Case Keenum knows how to win football games. I think that the Buffalo Bills, if push come to shove and they have to play Case Keenum, will play Case Keenum. And they will not, it will not be an upset if the Bills beat the Vikings, okay? Because right now, as it stands, as we speak, the Bills are a 56% victor. 57, according to ESPN. The analytics, they got the Bills still winning, 57%. Your thoughts on what the Bills have to do in order to win this game, Rocco?
Not turn over the ball, for starters. Secondly, score more points than the other team. And then 3, make sure that Harrison Smith in the secondary doesn't cause problems. Because the thing is, Case Keenum, people are going to say, well, Mike Zimmer was the offense there. Minnesota Vikings have had so many different parts since he was in Minnesota. But the situation with Case Keenum really has been, it doesn't matter where you put him, it doesn't matter what system or what offense coordinator you align himself with. Case Keenum knows how to, hey, I'm going to give it to the running back on first down and second down, and then we'll do a short passing play on third down. Or he'll be a guy who will open it up to Stephon Diggs on the outside on first down. I mean, Case Keenum knows what he's doing. So as long as Sean McDermott and the Bills organization trust Case Keenum to get the job done, the Bills are going to win the game on Sunday.
Okay. I'm glad that you spoke on Stephon Diggs. Got a question for everybody who is watching, tuned in right now to the Everything Buffalo show. All right. Once again, we are on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. All right. Justin Jefferson or Stephon Diggs? And who has the better game this week? Justin Jefferson or Stephon Diggs? Yeah. One of those questions, right?
I'll say this. As much as I love the Gritty King, as much as I think Justin Jefferson could be Offensive Player of the Year if Tyreek Hill doesn't run off with it, I will say that Stephon Diggs will have a better day because of the matchup. The Buffalo Bills, Minnesota Vikings, you have to carefully look at what the matchups are. And if you go on to the depth chart and you actually see who's going to be lined up against who, it actually shows you a very important stat line. And that is Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs. They're not going to be going up against, one of them is not going to be going up against the best corner on the other team. One of them is, but the other one isn't.
And who would that be? Go ahead and drop the jewels.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to the Buffalo Bills, because they have Gabe Davis and because they have all these other weapons, they can't just put Patrick Peterson. They can't just put Cameron Dantzler. They can't just put those guys on one person. In fact, they actually have to spread it out more. Whereas with Justin Jefferson, you're actually having to not focus on anybody else. So you can have your best player on Justin Jefferson, whereas Buffalo, you got to focus on everybody else. So if you actually look at the depth chart for both of these teams, it's actually quite fitting. Because when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, you have, Dante Jackson, you have Tre'Davious White. There's all those guys. However, on the Minnesota Vikings side, having Justin Jefferson go up against someone like a Jackson, for example, will be very valuable. So I say Stephon Diggs, he has the better option for this Sunday.
All right. Well, it's in the comment right here in the ticker. Who is better, Diggs or Jefferson? Obviously, this when the trade came, when the trade came and the Bills gave up the first rounder for Stephon Diggs and Minnesota got that pick and they took it and got Justin Jefferson. I mean, it's worked out for both teams, right? But who's the better of the two? And who will have the better game? Rocco, you said Diggs will have the better game in this one. I'm in agreement. I'm in total agreement with this one. I think Diggs will have the better game. If Josh is playing, Diggs will have the better game. If Keenum is playing, I think that Jefferson probably will have the better game. But, Keenum will probably spread the ball around a little bit more just because, he'll be playing that game manager style of football. So he'll be looking at Dawson Knox to get work, Look for him to get some work. Look for Khalil Shakur to get some work. Look for, Isaiah McKenzie to get active in this game. Gabe Davis, that boom or bust receiver that people keep talking about. Boom or bust receiver who gives you either 3 for 17 or 3 for 171, according to a certain someone, initials being MB Marcus Betts. But besides that, what other factors play into which team wins and which team loses besides turnovers?
Time management. The amount of time you have on the field. If you're an offense, you have double the amount of time on the field, time possession, you're most likely going to win the game. I mean, the more time you have the ball in your hands means the less amount of times you can turn over the ball and create defensive opportunities.
Okay. All right. I'm surprised you didn't mention the Bills' running game.
Well, why would I?
Because I think it's a big factor. You don't think that the Bills' running game is a big factor? Need to be a big factor?
The thing is, you used to have a University of Utah running back there, so I used to stand up for it. They traded him away to Indianapolis, so I really don't care much about your running game. So,
okay, here we go. Are we talking about Zach Moss?
We're talking about Zach Moss, yeah, University of Utah legend. Yeah, Zach Moss.
Moss didn't do nothing here, though.
It doesn't matter. He was a University of Utah legend.
So that's all that mattered. He could be Trent Richardson, and you be okay with that as long as
similar to Tyler Huntley. Why do I think he'll succeed in Baltimore when Lamar Jackson leaves? Because he's a University of Utah legend.
You know what? Okay. Well, how is that panning out for the Indianapolis Colts right now, having Zach Moss?
Well, Jonathan Taylor has been absolute dumpster juice this year. So.
Oh yeah. Dumpster juice, and that's why the Colts are dumpster juice. But we ain't gonna talk about the Colts because right now it's Everything Buffalo show. Got my guy Rocco Rakelli in the building. Sports Angles on, Vegas Hockey Hugs on. He got to enjoy that victory last night. We got to get one back soon. Hopefully they'll play again. But
you come down in December. In December, you come down to Vegas. So.
Right. Yeah, they do next month. Come to Vegas, Shoot, I might be coming to Vegas real soon. Hint. No comments on that. But Yeah, man. Buffalo this week definitely has to bring a lot of attitude. I think attitude will matter this week. If the defense is aggressive, I got Buffalo winning this game by at least 4 points. If they're not aggressive, and you see Justin Jefferson doing that giddy king stuff that he been doing, that stuff, you know how doing that the dance and all that, doing all this stuff, it's gonna be a bad day for Buffalo, and I will be there at Highmark Stadium Sunday for the Bills Vikings game. Should be an interesting one. Should be interesting. Y'all ain't answering my question though. Why y'all not answering my questions? I want somebody better answer this question. Who's better, Diggs or Jefferson? Y'all trying to elude the question, trying to avoid the question.
So how about I answer it by telling you who the top 5 receivers are in the league?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me.
All right,
Because I know
number one.
I got you, but cool. I know right now that this is interesting because between the two, one leads in one category over the other, and the other leads over another in the category. And it's real close. Right. But go ahead. I'll let you spark that.
All right. Top 5 receivers in the NFL. First is Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's about to break Calvin Johnson's record. You know, he cannot be number 1. Number 2 would be Cooper Kupp out in LA. Number 3, I got Stephon Diggs out there in Buffalo. Number 4, I got Las Vegas' own Davante Adams. Then number 5, Justin Jefferson out in Minnesota. Now, I'm saying to you right now, I got Jefferson at 5. I got Diggs at 3.
So are those are your picks for top 5 receivers or
top 5 receivers in the league? Yep, that's me right here. Las Vegas. Las Vegas' own. Yep.
I feel like you being real nice. That Davante Adams it's questionable.
Hey, Davante Adams is the 4th best receiver in the league. It's not his fault that Derek Carr can't pass to him against New Orleans.
Yes, it is.
It's not Davante Adams' fault that Josh McDaniels doesn't know how to deal with an offense.
Yes, it is. It's his fault. You want to know why it's his fault? Because he said he was going from one Hall of Fame quarterback to the next. This is his fault.
Well, Andre, if you really want to go there, would he rather be in Las Vegas, where the team is 2-6, or would he rather go to Green Bay that've lost 6 straight? Which one would you want to go to?
I don't think they lose 6 straight if he's playing in Green Bay, though.
Well, if Aaron Rodgers could get his head out of his you-know-what, maybe they would.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. Very true. All right, so you got Stephon Diggs at 3, and you got Justin Jefferson at 5. I have Stephon Diggs at. When I look at wide receivers right now, are we going by stats? Should we go by stats or should we go by just what I think? Because if I go by what I think, then I have Stephon Diggs at 2.
Hey, just tell me what you believe. Go ahead.
So, interesting enough, at number 1, of course you got to have Tyreek Hill at number 1, even though I really don't feel like he's number 1. But, of course, you got to put him at number 1. Then I have Stephon Diggs at 2. I have Justin Jefferson at 3. I have Cooper Kupp at 4. And my 5th receiver, I really didn't think past 4. I really didn't think past 4. But if I had to go 5, I'm not picking Davante Adams because I just don't think he's had a good enough season to be number 5. If I had to go with another receiver.
I mean, if you're thinking of one more, I can do my 6 through 10. Give you some ideas.
Yeah, go ahead and shoot some, and I might take one out of there.
All right. So at number 6, I got Michael Pittman. Number 7, I got Tyler Lockett from Seattle. Number 8, I got Mike Wallace from LA. Number 9, Jamar Chase. And then number 10, I got Penguin, Jalen Waddle.
Okay, number 5 is Jamar Chase to me.
Okay.
I'll take Jamar Chase. I'll take
Jamar
the
Chase?
guy who I'll take the guy who's been pretty consistent. Right now, if you look, NFL leaders for the last 2 seasons, if we go on by last 2 seasons, Justin Jefferson has the most yards in the last 2 seasons. Tyreek Hill was up there. Stephon Diggs is up there at 5. Devontae Adams is 4. Cooper Kupp is 2. Tyreek Hill is 3. Travis Kelce is 6. And then you got Mark Andrews, who's a tight end too. So you got 2 tight ends in there. And then Mike Evans, Tyler Lockett, A.J. Brown. That's actually a good pick. A.J. Brown might be really...
I will say, by the way, when I was doing this
really
list, because ironically I did this for another show, just to kind of plug that one, and I was actually debating between DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Waddle at 10. Because to me, DeAndre Hopkins could be a top 10 receiver, but his last 2 seasons, he just hasn't been there. I mean, he's still an elite receiver. He's just not the guy he used to be.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. If ifs and buts was candy and nuts, Rocco, we'd be eating all day long too, right?
And by the way, A.J. Brown, I didn't put him on there because he's had 9 games. I mean, I really want to see more from A.J. Brown than just 1 season.
Yeah, I agree. But do you think that he was a better receiver in Tennessee or a better receiver in Philly?
No, he's been a better receiver in Philly because he has someone he can trust. He has a quarterback he can finally trust to get him the ball.
Jalen Hurts. That's a shocker to hear somebody say that Jalen Hurts can.
Well, here's the thing:
you
he's
can
a
trust
lot
Hurts.
better than Ryan Tannehill. I mean, let's not be shy about it. Ryan Tannehill is not a good quarterback. He hasn't been a good quarterback his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill has been an average quarterback his entire career.
Okay. Interesting enough.
So, first 3 seasons in the league, you're with an average quarterback, and then you get sent to Philadelphia, and you have a franchise quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Your career is going to get better.
I guess we can go with that. Speaking of which, all right, we kind of got off track a little bit, but speaking of which, I would like to talk about these UB Bulls real quick. UB Bulls lost to Central Michigan 31-27 recently. They are now 5-5 after losing 3 straight. Then they won 5 straight, and they were top of the MAC. They are now 5-5. Rocco Raquelli, talk about the balance in college football, how you can go from really good one week to really bad the next.
I mean, when it comes to balance, it really just depends on your conference. You know, there are some conferences where the balance is very lopsided. There's some conferences that you really don't have a chance once you get behind the 8 ball. The Big Ten is really the one I'm looking at there. Like if you're in the Big Ten, if you lose 2 or 3 straight, you pretty much have no shot. Whereas there's some conferences that have more of a balanced schedule. It's more of a competitive balance. I say the MAC conference is that. The Mountain West here in Las Vegas would be similar to the MAC conference. There's more of a competitive balance. You know, you can lose 1 week and then you can win the next week. Or you could lose 2 straight and then come back and win 2 straight. So the MAC conference and the Mountain West conference are 2 conferences where it's more competitive. There's more of a balance. Unlike the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, where if you lose 2 or 3 straight, you pretty much lose all of that balance that you had. So.
Okay, yeah. UB coming up next week. They got Akron. They need 6 wins to be bowl eligible. Rocco, they got a couple games left, 2 at home in particular. Do you see the UB Bulls actually being bowl eligible this year?
Not only do I believe that they will be bowl eligible, I actually think I know what bowl game they could go to.
Oh.
Because something that you don't know about Ian Raquelli, host of the Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio, is I look at the bowl projections and I look at who are the certain matchups they could go down to. So there is a matchup where the ACC has to take on the MAC. There is one matchup every year where the ACC has to take on a person in the MAC conference. And I believe on December 22nd, you could see a matchup where you have the Idaho Potato Bowl, where you could see Buffalo taking on a team like Syracuse, or you could see them taking on a team maybe like Liberty. I mean, there's a bunch of matchups where you see an ACC team taking on a MAC team. So it could be the Idaho Potato Bowl, maybe. It could also potentially be a matchup where in the Bahamas, you have the MAC taking on Conference USA. So yes, not only do I think that they will go 6-6 and make a bowl game, but I think they could either be in the Bahamas Bowl or maybe be in the Idaho Potato Bowl.
Interesting enough. UB definitely will be playing Akron coming up on the 19th at 3:30 p.m. I will be there in the building, so we probably won't have MNT Live at the Apollo unless it's live from UB Stadium. But I will be looking for them to win that game against Akron, as Shane Dolick is number 3 in tackles in the nation. Number 3. That is phenomenal. The last time we had a really good linebacker at UB, he ended up going to a certain team that Rocco Raquelli knows all about.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about. Ladarius Mack. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Ladarius Mack. Okay. Yes, Khalil Mack, definitely. Jokester. Yeah. So
shout out to Chadwick Boseman, by the way. Draft day. Shout out to him.
Yeah. That was hilarious. Listen, Shane Dolick, shout out to you. Shout out to Mo Lundquist. He definitely gives me those type of vibes, NFL vibes. His attitude's phenomenal. He's all over the field. I look for Shane Dolick to be all over the field. Cole Snyder being the quarterback now at UB. They sent Kyle Van Treese, who was the quarterback last year, to Georgia Southern, and then Cole Snyder came in. And in the beginning he had some issues, couldn't get past Holy Cross. Maryland blew him out, but he's held it together for the most part. UB 5-5 right now in the driver's seat as they take on 1-9 Akron. This should be one of those games where UB should put their foot on Akron's throat and then keep putting that thing and walk that joint dry so that they can win their 6th game, so they can be bowl eligible as the week after they play Kent State. So I actually expect the UB Bulls to win the last 2 games of the season and end the season 7-5 with a bowl game against whosoever it may be in the Idaho Potato Bowl.
There you go.
Now, comments in the comment section. There's a lot. Wayne Solomon, what's good, my guy? Says 7-5. He met him, said Mo Lundquist is cool. Yes, he is. Khalil Mack, I was going to say Syracuse versus Buffalo. Ooh. Whoa.
Syracuse versus Buffalo. Yeah, that could be a matchup.
That would be an interesting bowl game. He said, I say use this as a catalyst to create a bowl game here in Buffalo as soon as that stadium opens. There you go.
Why not? They make bowl games everywhere else now. So
smart man, Wayne, dropping jewels. I think that's been the best. I think that was the best comment of the night so far. Dalton Smith, what's good, my guy? I see you. You've been talking about the Vikings and the Bills not turning over the ball. He needs Justin Jefferson still to have a good game, though, because he's on his fantasy football team. Got it.
I mean, the thing is, Justin Jefferson's going up against a corner who's been around the league for 3 years. Stephon Diggs is going up against a rookie. So if I'm picking somebody, I'm picking Stephon Diggs. So he's going up against a rookie. I mean, wouldn't you, Andre? If a guy who's one of the best receivers in the NFL is going up against a rookie cornerback, I'm picking him over Justin Jefferson.
Sure. Absolutely. Why not? Why wouldn't you? You know, I would. Now, with that being said, before we go, I'm going to play a quick commercial, and then we're going to come back, and Rocco Raquelli, I'm going to send us off. All right, going to send us off with your thoughts on next week. Give us some predictions. Actually, I want predictions for the Sabres Bruins. I want predictions for the Bills Vikings, and I want predictions for UB Akron coming up when we come back after this commercial.
Yeah. Bills Mafia. Don Brown. Yeah. It's the Mafia, you know I'm rocking with the Bills. It's the Mafia, you know I'm rocking with the Bills. It's the Mafia, I'm with the Buffalo Bills. It's the Mafia, you know I'm rocking with the Bills. Hey, who you reppin'? What's your team? Who you reppin'? What's your team? You know I'm reppin' for my team. I got that talent on my team. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, can you catch it? Can you? Trade day is like a mask, you not catching anything. Matt Milano making plays, we not scared of any team. Best in the AFC, all the praise of Brandon Bean. You hear Sean McDermott clapping while I'm snapping? Do you? Jerry Hughes will get the sack soon as you snap it. Yeah. Andre Roberts running back, ain't no just backing. Mafia, we on a ride and we got traction. We got Beasley, we got Diggs. McKenzie make you miss. Dawson Knox with the stiff arm, treat opponents just like his. Feliciano, Deion Dawkins block defenders like the fence. Hey, it's the Mafia. I said no one on top of us. I said no one is blocking us on top of our division. So it's clear that it's no stopping us. Google best team in the league and we popping up. Hey, who you reppin'? What's your team? Who you reppin'? What's your team? You know I'm reppin' for my team. I got the salad on my team. It's the Mafia, you know I'm rocking with the Bills.
All right. Don Brown rocking with Bills Mafia. Speaking of Bills Mafia, come on with those predictions, Rocco Raquelli, on the Everything Buffalo show.
So starting out with that Buffalo Bills Minnesota Vikings game, it's going to be a very close affair. And despite the fact that Buffalo Bills are a 3-point favorite brought to you by FanDuel, I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills will win 17-16. So I'm taking Buffalo 17-16. And that's the reason why on my show, the Sports Angle on PR Connections Radio, I took Minnesota +3 because I got Buffalo winning 17-16. Now,
wow.
When it comes to your Buffalo Sabres taking on the Boston Bruins, I'm going to have the Boston Bruins winning 4-1. Air comment.
All right, come with the UB Bull stuff. Come on with the Bull.
All right, so I actually have Buffalo winning this 35-20. 35-20.
Good predictions. I got the Buffalo Bills winning 27-21 over the Minnesota Vikings.
So you're taking Buffalo. You're taking the -3. Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking the -3. Now, I did say on Waffle Sports, shout out to Mookie Hawkins, I did say that the Vikings might beat the Bills. But if Josh is playing, I got faith in the Bills Mafia this week to get what they need done. And that's to get a victory against Stephon Diggs' old team. 27-21 Buffalo. All right. Now, the Sabres against the Bruins. Yeah. Shout out to NCW. I'll be there Saturday. Eastern Hills Ball, 6 p.m. because I ain't about to watch the Sabres lose, man. I got Boston winning 4-2. All right. And then UB, I got UB winning 34-24 over the Akron Zips. All right. So me and Rocco pretty much on the same page for the majority part of these predictions. But shout out to everybody that's been tuning in. If you've been tuning in to the Everything Buffalo show on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, shout out to all of you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Rocco Raquelli, straight up from the Sports Angle, Sports Angle, Sports Capital, Sports Entertainment Capital of the world, Las Vegas, And, you know, my guy with the Vegas Hockey Hub. Make sure you support. Make sure you follow. If you have not followed them already, you should. I can't wait to do some more shows with Rocco coming up real soon. And then boom, boom, boom. We will see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. NCW. MNT Live at the Apollo, 3 p.m. tomorrow. Myself, Joe Monster McDowell, in the building again right here in the heart of the city, Apollo Media Center. Thank you, Public Access TV, for the opportunity. And we'll see you again real soon.